Hello, everybody, and welcome to Angel Meadows. I am your hostess, Mama D, also known as Darlene. We're having a few issues with people getting into the chat room, so if you're listening to this let's see if we can try that again. If you're listening to this in the archives, thank you for listening in. And if you're listening to this in the chat room, I pity you all because there's only two of you, and I'm going to torture you. My guest this evening, now let's hope I don't crucify her last name, is June-Lundgren. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Yay! Okay, I didn't torture somebody. All right. Psychic medium, animal communicator, healer, nurse, international author, wife, mother, and probably a whole bunch of other things that we're going to get to know. So, hey, June, thanks for coming on my show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, Scott says hi, June. Okay, so tell everybody a little bit about you.
I've been a psychic medium all my life. I was raised by my grandmother for the first 5 years, and she was a medium. And I served in the military for 5 years. I'm a nurse. I was given the gift of the laying on of hands about 25 years ago. I remove demons. I don't like the word demonologist, so I call myself a demon seer. And I'm an author. I have 7 books, 3 more on the way. Some are fiction and some are real. And I'm an animal communicator. And I'm still working full-time as a nurse.
You are a busy woman.
Yes.
Okay. All right. First off, yeah, wow. She's a woman. We can handle all this stuff. Boys, I like to pick on the boys in the chat room. Luckily, there's only one. You can stick your tongue out all you want. Doesn't matter. It's not on camera. Okay. You have been a medium, psychic medium, all your life.
Yes.
What age do you first remember connecting with spirit or the divine or however you want to put it, that you remember it wasn't just that you realized it was spirit and it wasn't just, my special friend or talking to the cats or the dogs or...
My grandmother said that it was about 2 when she noticed me seeing things that weren't there, but she could see them. And I remember it was probably close to 5 years old when I remember seeing my first, where I could actually talk and say, what it is, my first ghost.
Okay. Now, I think this is amazing because you're like the third person, probably more, but third person in my head that has said that their grandmothers were their mentors, for lack of a better word. Your grandmother was a medium, and did she work as a medium as well?
No, people would come to her, but it wasn't like it is today. People come and ask her things or, ring her up on the phone and say, so-and-so's sick and how's it going to, come out. Mm-hmm. And she also had prophetic dreams and things like that.
Now, so I'm guessing on your side of the family, was it all the women who had the abilities?
Yeah, the women in our family, Claire, I've actually been able to trace them back to the 1600s. And 1603 is as far back as my grandma could get with family that had abilities. They were usually healers or people that worked with herbal things, or they have what Irish call, they were like, what do they call it, fae, where they could see things and know when things were going to happen. And so it just kind of down the lineage, all the women in the family. But it's come to an end on our side because there's no grandchildren on my mother's side except for my son. Mm-hmm. And it's actually been passed down to him for the first time. A male has abilities. But
Oh, well, possibly when he has children.
yeah,
He has
I'm
to have a girl. We
sure.
got to
I'm
keep the girl
sure.
thing.
I'm
How old is your
sure.
son?
27.
Oh, he's still a child. Oh,
Yeah.
mine are like, Mom, I'm going to give. No, I don't want to be a grandma. I'm too young to be a grandma, and you're too young to be a parent yet.
There you
We have
go.
a question in the chat room from Scott. He says, was it something that was discussed, or did you just watch and learn?
It was actively discussed. My grandmother knew that if she left it to my mother, who actually dumped me on my grandmother, it would never happen. So, because my mom was, it's bipolar, but extremely so, and had, really bad temper and could explode at the drop of a hat. So she knew that nothing would ever be done that way because she herself had turned her back on her abilities years before. So
Your
she
mother
knew
had.
that so she knew that I had, if anybody was going to teach me, it'd have to be her.
Yeah. I like the fact that you had somebody who was able to teach you, because I think that's what we as a society now are good at, because there's so many more open people that we're allowing the children to, because I remember when I was growing up, it was like, yes, you've grown out of the stage where you have invisible friends. Okay, you're done. Let's
Right.
just, grow up and, and the different things that we had to deal with when I was kids. You were lucky. But
Yeah.
I think that now that the kids that are coming up, more parents, more people are open to the possibilities of just because you can't touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, whatever.
Right.
There is a sense that there's something else out there. So I think a lot of
Right.
parents are like, okay, yes, and if those who are not, if they don't know what they're doing, they're allowing their children to explore it, or they find someone to help their children, which is really, I think, which is good, because for me, as I always say, my unicorns for butterflies and rainbows. So I want things to be good. I know they're not always good, but if you at least give it the chance to be good and find the good that's in that
Right.
that's going on, that will
Yep.
help as well. So yeah, I think that's awesome that you had a grandma that was willing to help you.
Yeah, unfortunately, my grandmother grew up in an era when, her mother, when she first started having her abilities, her mother came to her and said, you can't talk about them to anybody but family. You can't, use them because they'll put you in, the mental. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she was very careful not to, interact with people in that way when she was growing up. And, one time she had gone to a party, and during that time it was the thing to do seances.
Yeah.
And so whenever they had, one of those, if she was going to a party, then she would, make sure that she went outside, stayed away from wherever they were doing the seances and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think even to this day, my daughter came to me, a few years back, and she said to me, she says, Mom, I got to talk to you, and don't say anything until I'm finished. And she sort of laid her cards on the table, as it were, and told me exactly how she connected to spirit, yada, yada. And she kind of said, okay, now you can lock me up in the funny farm or the padded room or whatever the term it was that she used. And I was like, I couldn't, because as she was telling me, things were just sort of like little bubbles were popping open. That's like, that's something special that my child has, and I'm not going to close it down for her. But she was so afraid to talk to me when she was younger, because it wasn't something that I spoke of. Because because as a child I was told, what you see, hear, and do, and this is, it's gibberish, it's just child imagination, there's nothing to it, yada yada. So I closed it down. Eventually I opened it up, and I got a radio show. but it, even to, and that was only a few years ago that, that my daughter felt like, what she was going through was, a little bit difficult. So yeah, but also,
well,
like
I know
it's a lot of,
it's very hard with other kids.
yeah.
They're afraid to be thought of as different and, weird, and so they have, children can be cruel.
Yep. Yeah. And also, like Scott says in the chat room, he says, with mainstream, both programs of mediums and paranormal investigations, it's kind of opening up, that people are a little more open to it. And I think maybe 5 years ago, 5 to 8 years ago, is when it sort of started, especially with that 2012, the world would end. I think it was end as we knew it, and just different. It was a different way of thinking, a different way of being. So yeah. So I think.
Yeah, I know when I served in the military, I didn't. There was one thing that I never brought out.
That must have been an interesting time when you were in the military as a nurse. How did you? Because I know there's a way that we all close down, and there's no
Right.
For me, there's no way to completely close down. You just sort of say, if they come and they bug you, but in the military, you were a nurse in the military, right?
Right. That's where I got my nurse's training from.
Okay. So how did you not let it interfere in your in your daily life? When I was
off duty, it was different. When you're off duty, it's like I purposely lived off of base. I didn't live on base because just for that particular reason. And because, I had people that would seek me out. And so, but when I was working, of course, I was working hospital work, and, I communicated totally, telepathically with whoever was there. And, I had people die, on evening shifts, a lot of people. I had one night when the person found a person dead when I got there, and another one came in with a history of MIs, myocardial infarctions, and I was doing an EKG on her because she was slipping in and out of ventricular tachycardia, and she looked at me and she says, "I'm going." And I'm like, I hollered for the cardiologist who was out at the nurse's station, and we did everything we could to get her going again, but I knew that it was useless because, her soul was sitting there watching and saying, it's not going to do you any good. Tried to get a pacemaker lead into her and everything. It's like she ended up having blown out the anterior wall of her heart. So
she knew before.
Yeah. I told her, then you need to go because you need to not hang around here.
Yep. Because now it's no use in fighting something that is already. It's just sometimes it's harder for us that are here to let go, and we want to. It's a selfish thing. I know I've been through it. It's a selfish thing. You want them to stay longer because you want the physical presence of the person.
Exactly.
But it doesn't count. The physical is one thing, but that person, for the loved ones, the person is always with them in their heart and in their mind, and like you say, the moment you think about that person, you know that they're there.
Yes. It's definitely.
It's so simple, yet some people find it so difficult to understand and believe. So I think that's really. So being a nurse, though, is like because I would guess that when you knew somebody was crossing over and you were able to help them in respects that just kind of say, "Okay, you can go,"
Yeah, sometimes they want to linger, and I tell them, it's like her husband was out in the waiting room, and I told her, I said, go say goodbye to your husband, and then go into the light. He'll be fine without you,
We always think that we're not going to survive, but we do.
Oh, yeah, okay. We continue on. But, and you really can't, they don't really allow you to discuss it either, so anything like that.
Yeah, because that could be interesting conversation with you.
Yeah.
With your superiors. What happened? Well, you see.
Well, this is what happened, and I said goodbye. I told them, go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Now, how long have you been married?
We've been married 28, going on 29 years. And Armed Forces Day will be 29 years.
Oh. And did you met him when you were in the service?
No, I got out of the military back in 1981. I did 5 years and got out, and I didn't meet him until 1987, and we dated for about a year, and then we got married in '88.
So did he know about?
No.
No. And what was
I
his
never.
reaction when you told
I
him?
never said anything to him for a while, and then, when I got pregnant, I told him. I said, "Well, listen, this is what I am. This is what I do, and what's inside me will probably be the same. So just to give you a little bit of warning." And he just kind of like, okay, whatever, because he's an auditor. He's an auditor. He's very left-brained. It's like,
Okay.
okay, whatever you say. And then, things started happening when he's kept telling me, if I can't touch it, feel it, or see it, it doesn't exist. I'm like, okay, be careful what you wish for, because you'll be sorry. And next thing you know, he's seeing my grandma, who comes to visit, and he's like, June, and I'm like, I'm in the bedroom, and it's like,
Dear.
it's like, weren't you just here? I said, no. He said, you were wearing glasses. I said, no. See, I have my contacts in. And he's like, no, that was you. I'm like, whatever you want to believe, that's fine. then he saw her again a few weeks later, and then he saw my sister, who is, one of my guides, and he thought it was my son at first, because at the time my son had long hair, and he says, Ray? I said, Ray's downstairs. I said, what do you want? And it's like, he says that I'm not going to tell you what I just saw. I said, oh, you saw my sister. Don't worry about it. And then we went one Thanksgiving down to my cousin. She lives at the coast, and her husband wasn't doing so well, so we took, Thanksgiving down to them.
Mm-hmm.
We were staying at our timeshare, and I was upstairs in the bedroom, and my son and my husband were downstairs, and they were, watching TV down the stairs, and my husband was facing the kitchen area and dining room area in the condo, and he's like, I hear him bellowing at me, and I'm like, oh, there's something negative here, because I could feel it. I get down the stairs, and to him at first it looked like a little girl, and then it ended up but it was black, And he says, pointing at it, says, what is that? And I said, that, my dear husband, is a shadow person. He said it, and then it like ran through the French doors to the right. I said, welcome to my world. And he says, I don't want to see that. He says, I never want to see that again. I said, I can't guarantee that. I'm sorry.
And has he ever seen another shadow person since?
No, not a shadow person, but he's seen some other spirits, and he still doesn't like it, because his mom, he doesn't see his mother, but his mother comes around him. You can always tell, because he smells a really strong odor of cigarette smoke. His mom was a heavy smoker when she died, and she, you can always tell when she's around. Mom, will you tell my mom to just leave me alone? And I'm like, no. No, that's your mom. You tell her.
Exactly. Scott in the chat room asked, is he more of a believer now than when you first told him?
Oh, yeah, he is, but that doesn't mean he has to like it.
Exactly. He believes it. It's there, but, okay, keep it on your side of the bed, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's funny. Tell my mom to leave me alone.
Yeah, he came to me a few years back, and he said, I've had this dream 3 nights in a row, and every night's exactly the same. He said, I'm on board the Arizona. And he says, I'm walking through water like you walk through air. There's a bunch of us down in the rec room. And the big topic of conversation is, why didn't they come for us? Because they entombed those men down there. They just drowned. They left bodies there. He said, next thing I know, I'm up on the monument, and I'm running my finger down to find my name. And every time I come to my name, I wake up. He said, can you get me a list of the men that died on the Arizona? I'm like, okay. So I get online, and there's like 18 pages worth. And so he comes to me and says, this is it. This is who I was. And the name there was Raymond Arthur Roby Roby. And I named my son after my grandfather, Ray Arthur Palmer. So there are no coincidences.
Yeah. No, I'm learning that. It seems that every day you learn that there are no such thing as coincidences, even if you look back and go, well, no.
Yeah.
And what
It's
does your
always
son,
something.
and what does your son Ray think about it? This. Cause
It took him a long time to even deal with. He didn't want to deal with it. Didn't want to, just like a mumbo jumbo and stuff like that. But recently he's always had a connection with animals. I mean, the minute he saw a picture of Keiko the whale, he was in connection with it. He was in communication, and is still to this day. And he sees angels like we see people. It just, but that bugs him, He's like, make them go away. Ever since he was little, but back then he saw them as like orbs, blue orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, just tell them to look like what they are. And then they morphed into angels. And I said, see, they're not scary.
Scott in the chat room, who is a hypnotherapist, by the way, says, have hubby do some hypnosis, past life stuff.
No, it's easy to do.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in that stuff either, so there you go.
There you go.
And I do a lot of past life work on people on the soul level, so helping them to let go of, things that have come out, like my husband's issue with, past life drowning in this lifetime. You have to go back to the source of the soul and discuss it with them and have them, let go of, of that certain situation that was so traumatic for them.
Hello, Elisa. Sorry, just had somebody make it into the chat room. Yay!
Yay!
It's normally not such an ordeal to sign in, Sugar. We're having problems. I don't know what it is, but thank you for making it. She's also on a new computer. That doesn't help. Okay. Now, you have, so I have 2 pages of notes. I'm really good. Let's see if I can keep them in order, because I go from back to front. I never write things in order. Okay. So your son kind of sort of deals with his gifts, his abilities. I still call them gifts. Right. Some people call them abilities. So if I use gifts and it's not,
it's
the way
same.
So he's not too comfortable with it. He's okay with it, but he's not comfortable enough to work with it. And has he ever thought about, especially the communication with the animals? I can see not wanting to connect with the angels. That's a little bit more intense for some people. But the connection with the animals.
Oh yeah, he does that automatically without even thinking about it. So that's just normal for him. He doesn't mind that. That's different. He sees it as different anyway.
Okay.
Tomato type of thing.
Exactly. We learn to deal with things one step at a time and at our own pace, even though we as parents want them to be more comfortable and more relaxed with it, they have to figure out in their own time, in their own space, where they're going to go with this. So yeah, interesting.
I always felt that, when he was ready, then I would help him, and until then, I never forced him or never even,
Yeah.
Each person comes to it in their own time when they're ready.
Okay. When you, as a child, you first started with communicating with animals, that was the simplest, the first thing that you can say, because all kids connect with animals, and you continued. I wish I could still do that, have a conversation with my cat and my dog. But of all the things that each progression of who you are. Oh, hey, Nancy. She can't hear me. Ears are not on. With each progression as you grew, was there one thing that you kind of said, really don't want to go there?
The only thing, it's like I like communicating with animals, but bugs drive me crazy because they have a very, very, I don't care, if the expression is true, you've got the attention span of a gnat. And it's true, their attention span sucks. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't talk to them because they don't listen anyway. They just don't listen. I hate spiders. Not that their spiders are okay, but not in my house. Go away from me.
Okay. Well, then this brings up something. There was a conversation going on Facebook by a couple of friends, and they said they said that have souls, but insects don't, because the people who were having a problem, they didn't like flies and gnats and spiders and all that thing. I personally believe that every living creature, be it
Yeah.
skin, feathered, reptile, whatever,
Yep. They
has a
all
soul.
have. They do.
And they all have their reason for being. Now,
Yes.
one of the also in that part of the conversation was that, and this I have my own ideas on, but when a person passes, okay, example, when I pass, I'm always going to come back as a human or humanoid. Okay, I will never come back as a gnat, because some people will smack me and squish me. Well, actually, more even like a mosquito. I'm a bloodsucker. But do you think that animals come back as animals and humanoids come back as humanoids? Is that, where would
No,
you?
it's not. It's not fixed. If you want to come back as a dog, you come back as a dog. If you want to come back as a bug, you come back as a bug. It's like, but it's not usually, you don't find it that often.
Okay.
Animals usually pretty much stay animals of one type or another. They may not
Okay,
come
so
back as
cats
a
will come back as
dog, but
cats, and
they may come back instead of come back as a dog, they may come back as a cow or something. They just want to experience. It's all about the experience for the soul on the other side.
that's true. That would be a progression. You could start a brand new soul could come back, could
Hmm.
be originally starting as a gnat, and then work its
Yeah.
way up to a fly. And Elisa in the chat room says she could see me coming back as a cat, a cheetah. I don't know, like the jaguar, maybe Black Panther.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That would be that's one of my spirit guides. So yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah.
with me, I have an affinity with dogs, and wolves. And there's a place over here in Washington, Tenino, called Wolf Haven, and they take in wolves that people have gotten as pets, and of course they're not pets.
Oh God, no.
And so they take them in and they keep them in their natural habitat and stuff. But I went there for the first time. My son and I walked in to the grounds and we stopped at the fence, and I cleared my mind and I said hello, sent out the message to hello, and one of the guides was standing next to me, and every one of the wolves started howling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, they never do that. I didn't say anything. I'm like, okay.
It's like, huh?
Yeah, at the time they had about 30 of them there, so everybody howled at the same time. It's like, it's cool.
Scott in the chat room says, I seem to collect wolf speakers and guests. Yes, I have a lot of wolves in my pack.
There's
I'm just
nothing wrong with that.
I'm the grandma wolf. But okay. Now, how behave yourself. Wolves are a pack animal. Yes, they are.
Yes,
They are.
they are. Yep.
You okay? You still work as a nurse. I have your book, by the way. Hang on, let's see if I can do this without getting totally lost. Let's see if this is the right one. There you go. A Medium's Guide to the Paranormal.
Right.
How did you go from mediumship and connecting with animals and that to the paranormal?
Well, really, it's like I was a part of the paranormal before it was cool to be a paranormal investigator, because people would come to me because they knew I was a psychic. They would come to me with their issues on about the paranormal. Like we're hearing footsteps or some things are moving or whatever, and I would go and over to their house or whatever, and I'd sit down and I'd talk to the spirits, see what was there, and act as the go-between.
Okay.
So for me, that was just the same as anything else as the mediumship.
Okay. Now, do you still do mediumship? If somebody calls you up and wants a mediumship reading or a connection, you still do that as well as
Oh,
the
yeah.
paranormal?
Yeah, I just did one this morning, in fact, at 9 a.m. I have
Oh,
some more
goodness.
scheduled. Yeah.
I'll go back to sleep. I actually got up late this morning, so I was okay. Now, you do, okay, one thing about me is, I'm sure you have figured out, is I kind of don't stay on one track. I go back and forth. I'm just like,
That's
it's
okay.
a conversation between you and I, and there's people eavesdropping, and it's go, uh-oh. Your paranormal team, the first one that you were with, tell me a little bit about that one.
Northwest Paranormal Investigative Team. I met the leader of the group. I did his show. He has a show called Paranormal Crossings. It's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited me to be a guest on his show. And so he was like filming two shows on the same day. So the first woman went on and she did her show and everything recorded, and then I went on and talked about mediumship and stuff like that. And I left, and I kept waiting and waiting to hear about when the show was going to air, because it would be on local TV as well. And it was almost a month later, and finally I reached out to him and said, "What's up? When's it going to be on?" And he says, "I hate to tell you this, but he said the day we recorded it, it was like it never recorded." He says, "I don't know what happened." He says, we record on Blu-ray, on the station's computer, and on my personal computer, and nothing recorded. It's like you weren't even there." I just started laughing. He says, "You're not mad?" I said, "Why would I be mad?" I said, "I remove demons." I said, "That sort of thing happens to me all the time." He said, "Well, will you come back on and discuss about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come back on. This time I'll bring Michael with me in the Earth realm, and we'll be okay." And so a week later, we went on and we did the show, and about 30 minutes into the show, they're asking, where Michael was, and so I said, "Well, Michael's on the ladder, right?"
I saw
in front of us.
I wish I could put, see if I can get the link. I'll put the link in for the YouTube channel, guys. I saw that interview, that little snippet there about Michael.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think you had the host, he was speechless, and I thought that was so awesome.
The hostess was like, "Something just broke the air. It's been blowing on me," and I had this impression of a huge wing. And then what people don't see in the video is that when Michael came and stood behind Aaron, and he put his hand on his shoulder, and that's what kind of freaked him out. And he could see in the monitor that we watch for the show, he could see the reflection of Michael in the monitor, outlined in the monitor.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think that was another thing that freaked him out. And so you can hear, because at that particular time when Michael came over, I told him, I said, "There's something negative has come into the building." And Michael says, "Yeah, I know." He says, "Don't worry about it." So I pretended like there was nothing going on, and then you can hear, it's either time index 34 or something like that. You can hear the demon scream as Michael takes him out. But, people didn't, you would never even know it. And then afterwards, I told them after we stopped filming, I said, "You need to really listen to the soundtrack on the show." I said, "Because you're going to hear something." And him and his wife got home and stuff, and they started listening about 2:00 in the morning. They heard that, and they just freaked out. They're like, sent me a message. Of course, I went home and went to bed. They sent me a message saying, "Oh my God, you need to listen to this." And I'm like, yeah.
But I
And I
didn't hear
said,
it.
yeah. I said, Michael's going to give you you're going to have validation that it was Michael on, in the reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, his wife, they have 4 teenage boys, so they went to get pizza at Papa Murphy's or something like that, Little Caesar, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they ordered the pizza, and there was a young man waiting on him. And Christina says, well, what's your name? And he goes, oh, I didn't put my tag in. He's like, my name is Michael, like Michael the Archangel.
Nice.
I said, see? It freaked her out. I'm like, yeah, I'm used to him. He's been there from the moment I was born, so I don't even pay no attention. He's like about 7 feet tall and 12-foot wingspan. It's just, for me, that's every day. I really don't pay that much attention.
There's the question. A lot of people, a lot of us know that angels can be, that they can be everywhere all at the same time and
Exactly.
be, I know another woman who has Michael as she converses with him and everything. And it's funny because her description of what she sees as Michael is the same description as yours.
Yeah.
It's like people can say, oh, I have, like there will be those out there. Oh, yes, I speak to the angels, and there's just like wee little things. But it's nice how it was like a confirmation, because as soon as the description of Michael, her description popped into my head. I was like, wait, that's like confirmation. Hello, Not that I doubt, but it's always, it's always nice to have that.
One thing you find on the other side is that Michael can be 1,000 places at the same time, because it's not like here where you're physically in one place and you got to hop a plane or whatever to get there. All you have to do is think of something, because thought becomes reality on the other side. That's one of the things I learned when I died.
Okay, now that you've got that in, you died.
I was killed in a motorcycle accident in 1987. I just met my husband. I was going to teach him how to ride motorcycle. And so I had just repoed a bike that I had sold, which the guy wasn't making payments on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to take it over to his house, and I was going to teach him on it. It was a Suzuki GL 425. It was a bike that stood up. It was kind of fairly tall. And I was on my way over there, and she ran a red light and hit me. And it hit me so hard that it embedded the foot brake into the engine housing. And I ended up clear across the street against a brick wall. And fortunately for me, there was a police officer a couple of cars back and saw it happen. And I was clinically dead for 2 minutes. He couldn't get any pulse, couldn't get me brought back. And then I came back. But during that time, on the other side, you learn so much while you're over there that it's just 2 minutes felt like, 2 years on the other side. But, he had me relive all my lives back to the core soul. And that's when I found out that my soul belongs to Ariel, the Archangel. And I'm like, but I thought you guys never, archangels never came back. And he says, that's not true. He said, if we have something to do for God, we're reborn into the physical world. Or if we have lessons to learn, we're reborn into the physical world to learn that. He says, for Ariel, it was a case of her being here so long that she had learned to have contempt for mankind and had no compassion for man. Okay. I guess the ultimate thing was she was pulling a demon out of a physical body, and the physical body died. She had no care for, whether the person lived or died. Mm-hmm. So that's why she's made to come back and relive physical world lives until she learns to have compassion for man.
And do you think that she has learned her lesson?
No, she still has attitude. Still has attitude with a capital A.
Yeah, yeah. Go on like a girl
but
with an
she is,
attitude.
but she is getting better.
Mhm.
It took me a while to come to terms with what was inside me, and then it took me a while to, Michael taught me how to bring her forward and how to have, you know, conversations with her. And so she comes forward whenever I do a removal. And people that have done removals with me say that my eyes turn white when she comes forward and my face just completely changes.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know because I can't see because I'm too busy dealing. She has
Do
this
what you gotta do, yeah.
mentality is like she knows what's there, she knows where it is, and she just doesn't make small talk and just heads right for it.
Hmm. Girls gotta get a
Because
job.
her whole attitude is to get rid of these things.
Okay. Okay, there's a question in that room from Nancy. How often do spirits hook up with someone to kinda go on a joyride and live vicariously, doing things that they couldn't or wouldn't do when they were on the earth plane?
All too often. Recently, people don't realize that. They're like, they can be like a little puppy dog and follow you home. And they just don't even think about that, or they have a string of bad luck and they don't understand why. And I was on, week ago, I was on like ground zero with Clyde Lewis, and I have a lot of over 150 people that have gotten a hold of me regarding, possible attachments or
Hmm.
something negative in their home and stuff. And as I go through and, look into each one of these cases and stuff, there's a lot of earthbound spirits that either, just, this person looks good, so I'm going to follow him and see what he does, and or, I always wanted to do that, so I'm going to be attached to this person. Or, I hated like nasty in life, nasty in death type of attitude with some of them. They weren't happy in life, and so they're, going to make this other person miserable, make their
Hmm.
life go to hell in a handbasket, that type of thing. And I've run across where I've been called in on a case, and the person is like, there's a shadow person here, and I've seen it, and all this, and I'm like, I see them for what they truly are, their true form.
Hmm.
So I told her, I said, no. This dude is like 5 foot nothing, short, fat, and balding, but he never got any respect in life. And he
Okay.
sure as heck is going to let people listen to him now. So he shows himself as a shadow person, but he's not really a shadow person. So I told him, I said, suck it up and just move on, will you? They
Well,
don't always go willingly, but you have to tell them, if you're causing problems down here and you're harming people, you gotta go. You
yeah.
can't stay. I'm not gonna make one go if they don't want to, as long as they're not causing any problems.
Yeah.
But if they're causing harm to people, then in the physical world, that's not good.
No. But it's nice. I've had a few friends who are paranormal investigators, and I like that everybody's a little bit different, but in the end, the result is all the same. That if they're not doing any harm and they're not like a lost soul per se, that you can help them across. And if they're ready, if they want to stay, I've seen many homeowners say, well, I know it's like, it's the little girl from down the street or whatever, that she can stay
Right,
because
right.
she's not going to do harm, because once people figure it out. But once you figure out it's not the little girl from down the street, or that she was a holy
Right.
terror and she's here to continue the holy terror, that that you're able to, there's always somebody out there who's able to you help them
Yeah.
cross
Yeah.
over. Okay. Now you were with. I'm going to put up the picture. There you go. Um, you started your own group, paranormal
Yeah.
investigators, called
I
Ghost
actually just kind of branched off
Group. Okay.
I'm still a member of Northwest Paranormal, but I kind of branched off to specialize in negative removals
Okay.
and that sort of thing because I get so many requests that it's, boggles the mind. So
Yeah.
I thought, I need to split this from the other group but still maintain, being a member of Northwest Paranormal because, I love the people I work with at Northwest Paranormal. And so not always, this is my specialty.
Okay.
I'm actually training somebody that I'm working with and to train somebody to do what I do. And so we work together on removals
So this is
and
with the
if
ghosts
it's
and
true.
girls.
Yeah, that's Ghost of Girls Paranormal, yeah. We try to help, we go, even at the spur of the moment, it doesn't matter. We'll go and help, and especially if there's animals or children involved, then that's a priority for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not charge. I don't understand. I have people all the time, that email me and say, well, how much do you charge for, doing a removal? I said, I don't charge anything. It's God's work, it's up to the person to pass on the good thing. I do it for you. You do a good deed for somebody else. That's all I ask.
Have you ever been called to a place that says, I have entities in my house, negative and or otherwise, and it's not real? It's them sort of making it up to see if they can like a test to you and to your team?
Well, no, not really, not in that way, because if there's something there, the minute I make contact with them, I'll know there's something there.
Okay.
And if there's not, I'll tell my leader, it's like there's really nothing there. They may need some psychological help or they need a counselor. We're trying to put together right now a group of people that we can utilize that are willing to help out with counseling and things like that, because there are a lot of people that truly believe that there's something there, and that they need help. They need to have counseling and get to the right treatment, or just get some help. And I'm all for that. And most people, when they call us, their first thing is, oh, there's something negative here, but that's not true. It's first thing I always think of is, oh, somebody's stuck there and they need to be able to move on, so we need to help them. They're not bad. They're moving things and, poking you because they need help. The only way they can, get a hold of you to get help. Otherwise, because they can't communicate any other way.
True. Very true. It's not like they can write on the chalkboard and say, hello.
Right.
Take a Sharpie and write all over your fridge.
There you go.
There you go. Have you ever had to go in with the Ghosts and Girls or the Northwest team to, for lack of a better word, clean up somebody else's mess? Because I've heard,
unfortunately,
I have heard some people on my paranormal friends who's that there's the new ones who want to. They want to be investigators, and but they go in and make a bigger mess than when they left in, so they get called in. So have you?
Yeah, unfortunately that's true. Or they'll be someone who's started something like the first time I was called into the Shanghai tunnels to remove a demon down there is because these idiots at the back of the building where the tunnels are under, which isn't a part of the Shanghai tunnels, they're back there doing seances and using a witchboard, and they're opening these portals, but they're not closing them. And so, you have to go back there and clean up the mess, and they just keep playing with this stuff, and that's just not good.
Okay. Shanghai tunnels, where are they?
They're in Portland. They're right along the waterfront. They're, the underground tunnels that run all through the Portland area, waterfront area there. Some are open and some are still closed. Some are still filled in with dirt and stuff. But they've opened the Shanghai tunnels years back, because there's a lot of historical issues with it, and there were like opium dens and things like that down there, and they Shanghaied them in to, to work on the boats.
Okay. Shanghai. I was kind of thinking you went to China. I was like, okay, you traveled. Is there of all the places? Like I know a lot of people have their place they really want to go to and investigate. It's been investigated numerous times, or it's never been investigated. But is there the one place that you would like to go to do an investigation? Just to, just sort of like to drop in and say, hi, how's it going? Not do anything, get rid of any spirits or anything or
Uh-huh.
entities, but just go and see, go and connect with who's there and.
Yeah, the one place I wanted to go, there was one place locally I wanted to go, but they tore down the mental institution, Damish in Salem. They
Okay.
tore it down, too bad. But the places that I'm going to Alcatraz next May,
Ooh.
so I'll be going there. Me and my friend Wendy, who's the other member of Girls and Ghosts and Girls Paranormal. We're going to
Okay.
go to Alcatraz, and there's a few demons I'm going to be removing because they don't need to be there. I know exactly where they are, but I'd like to go to. I think I'd like to go to the Roman Colosseum.
Ooh, now that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be interesting? There's got to be a lot of
Yeah.
activity there. I don't care what anybody says, whether it's residual or not. It'd be cool.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about going to Alcatraz. Now, I know that there must have been dozens of yes, God says lots of pain too.
Yep.
At the Roman Coliseum, yeah. Many people have been to the Coliseum, to Alcatraz, and is it possible that not everybody okay, if you go this time, and example, you get rid of one or two negative entities that are not supposed to be there but are hanging around, is it possible that somebody else can come after you and still find entities that you didn't catch? Like, you can't catch everything.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there are several portals in that place,
Okay.
and I could spend days closing them all.
Mm.
And I know where the two most powerful demons are, and so those are the ones I'm going to end up removing.
Mm.
But like I said, if you don't close all the portals, you're going to get a lot of traffic in there. And
Yeah.
that was a place full of pain and depression and anxiety and fear, so it's just, it really attracts the attention of negatives.
Yeah.
They just kind of like, ooh, dinner.
That's where I'm staying away from. Because I've always said, I
Yeah.
don't mind doing the after work. I will listen and hear anything. I will watch a video. But if I go into a place, I'm more than likely going to be the one that stands there screaming. Everybody talks about this one girl who stood in this thing and screamed. I said, that'll probably be me. Not that I'm afraid, but you can scare the bejeebers out of me. Just. Okay.
Yeah,
Question. Won't Alcatraz be crossed with June, though, losing all their paranormal investigator fees?
no, because I'm not going to remove everything. Why would I do that? I'm only going to remove the things that they can't. See, they don't even show the tours down in the basement, in the laundry area. That's where these two are.
Okay.
So they don't go down there as a routine thing. And that's where these things are. See, the portals are, their portals are everywhere there. And so there's plenty of people that are still there. And there are people that were, had died there that don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their right to stay there. But, the demons don't need to be there. I mean, nobody needs to have demons there because they attack people, they cause pain and suffering. And, that's why these things are attracted to it in the first place when it was open. It was all that pain and suffering and fear and anger. But the rest of the, they'll as long as there's portals, there'll be things going in and out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Somebody's trying to
And
call you.
so really, there won't be any, any
Nobody will
loss
lose
of
out.
anything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're just you're going after the big uns, and it's
Yeah,
not
I
where
don't care.
where general. Yeah. And
Yeah,
if you're allowed to go
somewhere where
in,
they
why
don't
not?
generally come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on a night investigation.
It'll be interesting. Have you thought? Are you doing Facebook Live? It seems to be that is the
Oh
interesting thing is
no,
everybody does it.
yeah, I don't do that. I don't do Facebook Live. I just don't do it. I'm just not into that.
Not yet. Eliza said.
No,
Eliza said, "Oh my God, I'm going to get your name right
yeah,
eventually."
I just don't. I'm just not into that sort of thing. You know, I
Well,
just
it
don't
could
like
be.
it.
I mean, do you tape your sessions for your own to go back on?
No, not really. What I do is I will usually, the person can tape um, their side of it if they want to. I
Mhm.
don't care. But I'll usually, I always, before I do a session, I'll write down, notes
Mhm.
and, write everything down that I receive, and then I'll send it to the person so
Okay.
that they're,
They're
so that
informed. I have lost you.
I I don't care. It's like because once you're given the information and you pass it on, then it's gone.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I do record. I do record when I remove demons.
Okay. Do you use any I'm going to call them gadgets, but they're not gadgets. Any tools? Like I said, I'm just new to the paranormal thing. I haven't been on one. I'm not sure I ever want to go on one, but I've heard about Ghost Box and Echo Box. And do you use anything to speak with, or you just go in and get your feeling as the medium and do what you got to do? And I have no sound from you. That's weird. Well, we'll just keep talking because right now, June, if you're talking, I'm not hearing you. So I'm not sure what happened. So, oops. Okay, so it's not us. Aha, we lost her. Okay, so what we're going to do, she crashed out. Well, she had a bit of a problem, like a few other people had a bit of a problem getting in here in the first place. So we'll just hang tight and hopefully she'll come back in and do. So, Elisa, what do you think of my show? See, I could have you on here. Did the spirit just give the cold shoulder there, Mama D? Yes, it did. See, and you're still awake, see? It's happened twice so far. But, and if you have any questions when June does get back in here, if June gets in here, I think what I'll do is I'll pause the recording. So everybody, just hang tight a second. Okay, we paused the recording, so nothing from now on can be recorded and can be held against me. Hot day! No kidding.
Thank God we can all swear now.
Oh, shit, I forgot to block your Who is that? That is Brian Clover. He is an old co-host of mine, but he still hangs around. Yes. He's from Australia. He was from the UK, and they shipped him over to Australia, and they kept him there. The resident ghost. Only if I get to mute him. I forgot before the show. Yeah, it's fun. And see, here, hold on a second. Scott, can you turn on your camera for a second? Yes, no, you don't often get muted. You often get kicked out of the room, but you don't often get muted. And see, we even have space for other people. Look, Eliza, oh my God, I'm going to get it eventually. You're always behaving, darling. Just don't get you caught
Oh,
misbehaving.
don't behave. It's the law that you're not supposed to be good in here.
You can misbehave all you want. If Scott and Brian can, so can you. See, there's room for another faces. Eventually, Aliyah will come on here. She'll be one of our guests in December. And maybe, just maybe, she'll come on camera. But if not, she'll have, she'll be audio because you can't do the show and just typing. It just doesn't cut it. Okay, let me see. Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. You just scared the bejeebers out of me. No, June isn't on camera. She didn't have a camera on her desktop, so. She's not even in the chat room anymore. So I just sent her a message. Ghost in the machine. No, that's called Brian. Sorry.
I could come back with a really nasty there. You do know that, don't you? I mean, you attract some of those nasties, and poor old Scott and myself have to clean up after you. And this isn't a good thing at times.
Brian.
Yeah.
Scott. Behave yourself, gentlemen.
Oh.
Remember, I know both your wives on Facebook. I can get them, smack you both.
It's not even Friday.
And they like me. No, I know. But you may get it all of a sudden on a Friday. Nice one, it will come out of nowhere. Okay, well, I'm not sure what happened. I've sent her. The demons got mad. The demons don't get mad at me. They like me. We should assume that if the spirits will chat with mediums, they will choose this medium to make their presence felt as well. Just say it. Yes, that's true. But I do not like demons, unless, of course, they have a six-pack. Sorry, said that. Thank God it's not recorded. I got Scott shaking his head. I did it. I made points.
I've got a family pack rather than a six-pack.
You got a keg, baby.
How rude.
Pixies love pixels. Like they make mischief. Very true, very true. Well, you know what? We went for like... Yes.
We've got a leprechaun that lives in our house. He lives underneath the fireplace. He was most put out when we got our big hairy dog. I'm serious. We do.
I know.
Oh.
I've spoken to Helena. And I've heard about his pinching bits. Your leprechaun goes around pinching bums. Keep him in your house, thank you. No.
He knows better.
You can keep him in your house. I don't want any leprechauns in my house pinching bums. My little wood family comes and scared the bejeebers out of my cat when they were first tearing down the woods next door. Hey, that's wild. That camera's pointing that way.
Have you been putting milk out for them? Encourage them into your house in the winter?
No,
well,
they're quite pleased outside. They're quite pleased outside. No, my cat would have a pissy fit. When they first were destroying the woods next door, when they were first destroying the woods next door, I used to go into the woods all the time, and I just kind of, okay, guys, I know that you right now don't have a place to stay, so you can hang around in my house for a while. Yeah, the cat didn't. I said they had to stay in my room, but it was quite often the cat would go into the bathroom, come out, like the ghost Halloween cat thing, back up, and there's nothing in the bathroom whatsoever, nothing to the human eye could see. So yes, I know that. I'm guessing my guest lost internet.
Lost interest.
How?
We might have bored her.
Like I said, we had a few problems getting... What the bloody... Sorry. Because she's not on Facebook. Well, just for the future reference, she's going to be at the Oregon Ghost Conference, March 23rd, 4th, and 5th. So if anybody wants to go there and see her.
You do realise that she could be off handling one of her demons. This could be quite a story, you know, right in the middle of a show, doing the thing.
Well, maybe they tried to get in here and they couldn't. It's true.
I think they got in prior to, because it took me 3/4 of an hour to get in here, so not always easy.
I don't know. That would be interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, Skype has been acting up like a putz, and it seems my show as well has been acting like a putz. So, well, what we're going to do, hang on a second. I don't know what's happening. Well, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to turn the recording back on, end the show, and then if you want to stick around and chit-chat, we can do that. So hang on a second. Okay, everybody, we're back to recording again. I don't know what happened to my guest. You know, it took a while for some people to get in here, and so what I'm going to do is we're going to end the show this evening at this time, and I'm sure we will have her back, have June back again in the future, and maybe next time we'll have her whole paranormal investigation team come on as well. Never know what I can create. And as my chat room says, damn demons. It's the Skype demons, that's what happens. But I thank everybody for hanging in, and we'll see you again next week. Let me see, who do I have? Oh, yes. Next week I might have to have a change of time because my guest has a day job, or an evening job, I should say. And has an evening job, so we may make it a little bit earlier. So, everybody, y'all behave yourselves. And if you can't, don't get caught in misbehaving. I love you, and I will see you all next week. Much love. Night-night. And there we go. Recording is
That's
on.
it. We're free. No, don't go, Eliza. We don't need to. We can carry on being rude.
Hurrah!
You can carry on being boys. Whoop.
Oh, now it's evens now, you see, because Scott and I can now gang up on Darlene, and this is so much fun.
At least this is Scott's audio is spotty. It's only spotty because Brian won't shut up.
Because I'm in the UK, we're on gas still.
Lisa says I have perfect sound. Nancy said it's because of your mustache.
No, the sound's perfect over here. Absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Okay, my guest just Skyped me and said she's going to try and get back in. So let's hang on and see if we can always restart. I'm not difficult.
Why
really?
I can imagine. Yeah. Poor Terry will back me up on this.
For you, darling. I love you. You know that, right? You know the phrase. There you go.
Yeah, I know. You take out the I and you, and guess what?
The most important word is love. And where's that stand? There you go. Sorry.
That's it, in the middle.
I'm not putting on a good... She's just going to go, oh my gosh. Yes. Well, there was the survey said it's good to have friends who cuss. Didn't cuss.
Yeah, shows it's a sign of intelligence.
What, cussing?
Yes.
Or having friends that cuss?
I reckon it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I cuss more than most. Being Australian, I mean, it's a second religion out here. You know, everybody swears. So, I mean, I've heard even our down at a local spiritualist church, the woman who runs the place, she can come out with a mouthful like you would not believe. And the first time I heard her, I sat back and thought, is this the place for me?
Yep.
But no, all seems well.
To tell somebody to go away, it doesn't have the same effect as if you said something.
You're obviously right. No, the best way.
Birds and flock off.
That's it. No, the best way is go forth and multiply, because that says it all.
Yeah, no.
That's too long,
though. That's too long. It's just it's in French. See, in English it's 3 words. Where you go here, 3 words, and in French it's 2 words. Je t'aime. Oh, look, my guest is back. Hang on a second.
Wow.
Hi, June.
Hey there. I don't know what happened, but I lost internet, which is weird. But, you know, with what I do, it's not completely unexpected.
Not unusual.
There you go. Okay.
Nope.
You want? I stopped the show and I ended it. But if you want, we can restart it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, hang on a second. Okay, we're back. All right, we had a little bit of, June had a little bit of an internet problem. It seems people didn't want her to talk to me. The Skype demons.
Yes, they're mean. Vicious.
Well, what I do, if everybody's seeing now on the picture, it's the Skype demons, yes, is the Oregon Ghost Conference. Now, you are going to be there on, if I can remember correctly, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th?
Yes, of March. Yes, I'll be lecturing. Uh-huh.
Okay. So tell us a little bit. I've never been to a paranormal conference. So tell us a little bit about the paranormal conferences.
Well, the Oregon Paranormal Conference is the biggest one on the West Coast. It's we're having it. We outgrew Oregon City's venues a few years ago, and so we went to the Seaside, which is right on the coast, which is very nice, and it's spring at that time. And what it is paranormal groups, people that make things that are paranormal, UFO, anything like that that's out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. You're going to find there. They're going to have a booth or a vendor table, and people offer readings. You can get readings there. You can buy, things you wouldn't find other places, like, crystals and naturally made things. I sell my books there. There are several of us that sell books there. And during the 3-day weekends, we have classes. People teach classes on different things. Everything from, like last year I did a class on protection against negatives in paranormal investigation. And then we have teaching classes. We have lectures on different subjects, everything from, white light issues to how to investigate correctly. A friend of mine taught a class on, on filming during an investigation, things like that. It's very interesting. There's always something happening, and it's huge. There has to be at least, 50 to 70 vendors there. And there's always something going on. We also have, where we meet at, a restaurant or pizza parlor or something like that, and people can come and meet us, get signatures, autographs, that sort of thing. And we have, local places where we do paranormal investigations. People can come and sign up for investigations. They pay a nominal fee. I think it's like $25 to do an investigation with, paranormal investigators. I have a friend, Jay Verberg. He was on the show Ghost Mine on Sci-Fi Channel, and he's a member of Oregon Paranormal, and he's a friend of mine, and, he'll speak or he'll be there to sign autographs and things like that. There's a lot of things happening all the time. And it's always constantly something going on. It starts on a Friday at around 3 o'clock and goes till 7 o'clock that night. And then Saturday it goes from 9 o'clock until 7 p.m. And then they have the after hours. They have ghost stories around the campfire on the beach, things like that, all kinds of different things. And people meet people that they normally would not come into contact with. And Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero, he's there. He's there every year, and he comes and talks about, his show and things like that. He's represented there. And
well, I put the Facebook link for the Ghost Conference Facebook page in the chat room. Sorry, that was a hiccup.
Yeah, it's really nice because it's very informal, and you can talk to people that you've either followed on Facebook or whatever, and you can go up to them and talk to them in person, and if you have questions, they welcome questions, that sort of thing. I have people, that want to talk to me about different things, you just can be very laid back and informal with everybody.
Now, I've heard a few other people have I've heard of the paranormal investigations. Different states have their events. I have a friend who still does with his paranormal investigation team. Good God, I'm a triple for my words tonight. He also does fundraising, and he does it. There was one in Florida, which Eliza may not know, but Florida, big state. I'll hook you up. They do one for paranormal kicks cancer. Everything that they raise goes towards a fund for children's cancer, a cancer camp that teaches them paranormal stuff that they can do, and so which is interesting. Another one, he does it with his dog, Potographs for
Tim?
Pooches.
Tim
Wiley,
yeah.
There it is, my Tim. And I think Murray just made his last live show. Murray's getting up in years, so he's staying home.
He is. Yeah.
But so do you guys have a fundraiser?
We just finished a fundraiser. We went to a place called the Klondike, which is it's a haunted hotel. It's on the coast in St. Helens. It's where the Halloween Town was filmed.
Okay.
And the sequel to it was filmed in St. Helens, Oregon. And the Klondike is an old hotel that's been there for, many, many years, and it's haunted. And it was actually on the episode of Paranormal State, and Lorraine Warren was there and stuff. So that we had a woman that was fighting cancer, terminal cancer, and we did a big fundraiser on the 20th, a week ago, Friday, to help raise money for her medical treatments. And Jay Verberg was there. I was there, Aaron, and a couple other people, and my counterpart, Wendy. We were all there, and we did paranormal investigations with people, and all the money went to her medical treatments. Okay. So we try to get involved in things like that.
I think it's awesome that for no other reason, if you get together and do some form of fundraising and getting people to know and to accept,
exactly.
Because you don't charge when you do your
right.
Most of the good teams that I've heard of do not charge for their investigations when they do will do house investigations.
Right.
Unfortunately, you guys have to pay when you want to go to a specific place. When you go to Alcatraz, I'm guessing that you got to pay to go there and do that.
Oh yeah, you do.
So I mean, when you can do the good of the fundraising at the events, then why not? So that's great.
Exactly. Yeah, we try to do what we can, and I like donate my time. I do, animal communication if somebody's having problems with, if I have a rescue site that's having issues with an animal, I donate my time to, help them.
Okay.
And the animal, that type of thing. I'm more than willing to help people with that sort of thing without charging anybody for it, for rescues and things. That's close to my heart.
I have a friend in, I think he's in Florida, I'm not sure. And he wanted to, in a second, he wanted to work with the rescue shelter, the animal rescue shelter, to work with the pets to help them calm down when they've been brought in and stressed. And I don't know if he ever did. Is that, because when I was doing my show, he was one of my first animal communicators, and he was new with being out there for the public, so that was one of the things he wanted to do. And I don't know if he ever did, but that sounds like something that would be, interesting for as a shelter.
Some of them come from really rough backgrounds and have a lot of abusive cases and things like that, and a lot of times they just need reassurance, and they're afraid of everything. And once you can get past that initial thing, when I communicate with them, they at first are kind of startled because they can, one, understand me, and two, be able to communicate back to me.
Yeah.
Once they get comfortable with that, then we have our full-on conversations.
Yeah.
And
well, I would assume animals are just like children. Not all children want to talk, right? They kind of do the shy thing, and so animals would be the same way. Yeah.
I usually will just sit down and just open myself and let them come to me if they want to talk.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't mind, we have a question in the chat room. Brian Clover, who has a very deep voice and sometimes thinks he sounds like God, but I think God's a woman, so hello. So he's got a question, so you can unmute yourself, Brian.
Thank you. You are so kind. No, what I wanted to say is, I pick up on people, as you know, Darlene, and picking up on June, I have never come across a person who is so true. There's nothing false about June whatsoever, and it's such a pleasant thing to be able to find. And I do congratulate you, June. I think you're a beautiful, terrific person. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much, Brian. I don't believe in putting on airs because I'm just me, and I put my pants on the same way everybody else does.
Oh, look, sorry. Hi, Eric. He was having a hard time getting in too. Yes. No. I think. Sorry, the boys are having conversation about who's got the deeper, more sexy voice. Okay. So hello, Eric. Thanks for getting here. Better late than never, and there's no such thing as being late. We had a few glitches in the show this evening.
Yes, we did.
And it had absolutely nothing to do with Teddy. So it's fine.
No.
Thank you, Eliza. You're a doll. As long as I don't put people to sleep, we're okay. Is there anything aside from the Oregon Ghost Conference that if you use your link on Facebook, it works? Really? Okay. Yeah. Same thing, but c'est la vie. Is there anything that you have coming up aside from the Oregon Ghost Conference in the month of March? Anything that you know of that's coming up, or it's just like you say, tomorrow you might get a phone call to go to someplace next week to help somebody out, or?
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. I have actually, I have a couple of removals to do next weekend, and it's usually people will contact me and want me to. I know that there's going to be a benefit for Forest Moon Ghost Conference, and I'm not sure when it's going to be done, but I'm supposed to be hearing from Cheryl, who is going to be doing a benefit for them to help their group with their next ghost conference, and I'm going to donate my time to lecture there. It's in Washington State, so I'm not sure about when, but I'll just put it on my Facebook as soon as I know.
Do that, and I will share it, and make sure everybody who needs to know about it knows about it. Those who don't need to know about it will know about it too.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, well, we're gonna cut the show as it is because we've been having a great time. But unless anybody has, okay, children in the chat room, behave. We're not measuring dogs, mind you. Scott's dog is humongous, the big one. It's Nikita. Even the puppy's the big one. What kind of dog? Mine's big. Okay, we're not going to have the size of the dog thing. Okay, I have a Shih Tzu. I'm safe.
I have a Cocker and a Springer.
There we
For
go.
now. I used to have Dobermans, but they died of old age.
Oh. Okay. So, again, thank you very much for coming on the show. I do hope maybe that I can get you back and get your paranormal investigation team. That would be the first for me to have a whole team talking about an investigation or something. It would be fun. So, talk to the team, see if they want to, come on with the crazy woman from Canada.
All right.
And I thank you, everybody in the chat room, Eliza, Brian, Eric, Nancy, and Scott. Y'all have been a great bunch of people. Everybody who listens in the chat, in the archives, you missed a slide. Everybody behave yourselves. Have a good week, and I will see you all next week. Much love. Butterfly kisses, everybody.